Can you give us the intro that you do? Brave Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all those watching in the magnificent kingdom of Bahrain and the millions watching around the world, are you ready?
Wow.
Right.
How did he practice that?
Long time. It's easy to see who trains and who doesn't, right? If they're announcing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't fake that.
You can't. That's what I'm saying.
You,
like,
but you either know what an omoplata is or you don't. Right?
Yeah. And I don't.
Right. You either know
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was
a
saying.
kimura is or you don't,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
there's different terms. I was fortunate. I got in with the Brazilian community. I used to date, Big Nog, Nogueira, Minotauro and his brother. I used to date their sister, Baby Nog.
Okay.
So
That must have went well.
it had to go well, because especially when we broke up. I was more concerned about the brothers than her. I'm like, baby, I'm a good guy, and
You're not worried about a broken
it
heart.
didn't work. Yeah, I'm worried about a broken shoulder and legs. So, but these guys, they were so awesome. But I got implemented when I doing jujitsu with Eduardo Telles and Andre Galvo and the Minotauro and the Nogueira brothers and all that. So that gave me kind of an in on that, So I still try to do jujitsu. It's kind of a lifelong thing for me. And
Are you a black belt?
I'm a purple belt, but according to my master, I should be a black belt because I've actually refused advancements.
Yeah.
Which I don't think many people have done because I just didn't feel I was
Worthy?
worthy or ready. Yeah, I'm really hard on myself on that.
Okay.
So I'm up for a brown belt, he said, very, very soon. And they may even do it like in Bahrain at a show, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that's kind of like the guy I am, right? If I don't want anything.
You're a stand-up guy.
I want it real. Yeah.
You're a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that because when I was watching... was it Hamza versus Gilbert Burns or something?
Uh-huh.
Like, you're black belt, I'm purple belt. I'm going to show you that black belt means nothing. And even Islam was saying the same thing, right?
Right.
He's like, like Charles Oliveira is a black belt, right?
When Cormier tells him that, he's like...
And he's like, I think you should take belts away from these guys, these black belts.
Right.
He's like, I'm not a black belt. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what's the process like?
Mokayev the same way. Mohammed Mokayev,
Yeah.
same way. He's from Brave. And man, he's like, black belt, it doesn't matter to me, right? But anywhere else in the world, a black belt's a big deal.
Yeah.
But to them, it's like, I'll smash you anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's like Mr. Miyagi, right? What color's your belt? This one that's holding my pants.
Right. Exactly. So it's the superstars that Brave is producing is really
Are we
something
recording,
to
by
take-
the way, or are we
take
just
note.
chatting off camera?
This is what it's supposed to be like.
No, but I'm just wondering. I'm wondering.
Danny?
Oh, we are rolling. Okay.
Oh, we've been rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
cool.
you
We're
know
good,
the process, how it works anyways, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, sure. So what usually happens is that we give you the footage and then you tell us what you don't want to have in and then we publish.
Awesome.
And so you guys have the footage and hopefully by tomorrow.
That is great.
with
Can this
Ahmed-
go down a little like you guys? So this isn't, or is that?
Here, how about we just switch then?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
No worries. Doesn't bother me.
I think it might be a little better if I.
Yeah.
There, a little more out of the way.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Awesome. So
I mean, what do you think about these? Okay, when I was a kid, right, I was doing taekwondo, and then I'd see kids my age with black belts. I was like, and then to get your next belt, you sort of have a fight with the other kid, right? And so I was a yellow belt going to a green, and the other kid was a black belt with the same age, and I won the fight, and I was like, that was the day I quit because I was like, if he's a black belt, right? What am I doing here? You know what I mean? What's the point?
Right. That's that being real. That's what that's all about. I mean, I think jujitsu is pretty much the realest form of martial arts because it takes, at least 8 to 10 years legitimately to get a black belt. And you can't fake it. You can say certain things in different other martial arts, but if you go, I'm a black belt, and another guy say, I'm a black belt. Let's see.
Yeah.
How do you do? Right?
Yeah.
And the proof is in the pudding right
Yeah.
there. So the great thing that His Highness has done here with KHK MMA, KHK Team Bahrain is now the #1 team in the world. So these amateurs and pros that he's cultivated from Khabib, from having Francis Ngannou here years ago.
He was KHK?
He was KHK.
No way.
Yeah. And Shahid, of course, KHK through and through, started it with His Highness. And when he got Hamza aboard, Hamza was kind of a chubby kid who just wanted to train. And Hamza said he was inspired to go pro by Shahid and by His Highness. And to see what he's done, I mean, that is just incredible to be the pride of Bahrain, the pride really of a country and taking that country on your back into every single fight. We had talked about that immense pressure that goes with that, and he handles it like it's nothing. I mean, it's really a testament to how great of a guy this guy is and how much of a incredible representation of mixed martial arts he is as well.
Yeah, you know, I saw an interview once with Hamza, and the guy was asking him, how do you feel about the pressure? And he's like, I don't know why people keep asking me this, like the pressure. He's like, at the end of the day, it's a fight.
Right.
I'm going to win or he's going to win.
Right.
Right. But if I start thinking about what's at stake, then and add all this unnecessary pressure to myself, then it's just going to affect me for no reason.
That's true.
And what I really loved about him was that they're like, are you struggling with the weight cuts, And he's like, yeah, some fighters, when they finish a fight, they'll gain the weight. He's like, I just stay in shape the whole year.
He has that mentality too. There's a difference between fighters who need to fight and fighters who want to fight. And he's a guy who wants to fight. He doesn't need to fight. His family is doing very well. He's from a good home. He just has that inside him, and you can't really teach that at all. So I've been fortunate that I've seen him grow from Brave 1 all the way till now, Brave 65. And he's going against a guy, El Burro, Eduardo Mora from Colombia, who's a very, very tough guy. And so it's going to be, again, an incredible main event. And I think Hamza is going to pull out the victory as well. And of course, when Hamza fights in the Kingdom of Bahrain, it's electric here. Everybody goes crazy. It's like the entire country feels like it's shut down. Yeah. And it's just, huge props to him. Yusuf Kuheji, his brother, is an amazing coach. Eldar Eldaroff, of course, the head coach of, KHK Team Bahrain, is just one there's very few like Eldar in the world. Not only is he a champion of ours at Brave, but he is one of the best coaches in the world as well. Yeah. So His Highness putting this all together with the Hawk, you can't really compare to it in the world. We were talking a little before when after Brave 1, they said, I was doing interviews with the Hawk, and the media came and they were going, what happens if Brave doesn't do well with ticket sales? What happens if Brave doesn't sell merchandise? And he's like, His Highness wants to set a global imprint on the landscape of mixed martial arts.
He wants to set a standard.
A standard and make a mark. And they again said, but what if your merchandise doesn't do well? And he said, let me repeat myself. We don't care about that. We care about making an imprint on mixed martial arts globally. And look what's happened since. At Brave 1, there's a clip of me that I say, the Kingdom of Bahrain is taking over the MMA world. And people are going to me, I'm from California. Sure. And people are going to me, well, first of all, where's the Kingdom of Bahrain? And second of all, what in the world are you talking about? And I just said, just watch. Just
give it
wait.
A few years, yeah.
You wait. And then all of a sudden, boom, His Highness gets IMF over here, the biggest amateur competition in the world for years in a row. Turns the kingdom in Bahrain into combat kingdom. Just superstar after superstar training here. KHK Team Bahrain ascending to #1 in the world. Now everybody knows who the Kingdom of Bahrain is. Now everybody knows what Brave Combat Federation is. And, I'm proud to be aboard and to be a small part of this incredible machine that's going, that has now produced events in 28 different countries, which is a record, smashing the UFC mark in only 6 years. And the UFC's been around since 1993. 80 countries have been represented in the cage. I mean, these are stats that you don't see from any organization out there. So the thing is, if you can fight, Brave is going to find you. If you have that will and that heart, and what we were talking about, Brave is unique that they don't care if you're marketable. They don't care if you have a brand.
If you're pretty,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. What they care about is, do you bring it for your country? Sure. Do you want to be a national hero? So I've always said, wow, His Highness has turned this into country versus country for worldwide bragging rights. And then what happens through peace through violence? Everybody is friends afterward. I don't care how much smack they talk before a fight, right? As you know, when you throw down afterward and your opponent threw down just as hard with the same amount of heart, you hug each other and it's all love. And that's what Brave Combat Federation is all about. And that's why I always feel like, from the United States, I feel like almost a peace ambassador wherever I go. People look at me and I go into different countries, you know, Pakistan, Morocco, Saudi, wherever we go, Colombia, Brazil, and they expect a certain thing from me because I'm from the United States. But when they see my heart and my passion and my love.
What do you mean by expect something from you because from the United States?
It's just kind of a premeditated, you know, idea of what I should be or what they expect. And then they meet me and it's something totally different, right? They're like, wow, this guy truly cares. He not only cares about the fighters, he cares about the sport. He not only loves his country, but he loves every other country in the world.
And how hard is it to go back into the U.S. after visiting Morocco, Pakistan, and India? I can't imagine that the TSA is like, wow, come on,
come on through. And it's been such a joy for me. We were talking a little in the car of what I've put on the line to do what I do, and
you gotta tell us these stories. By the way, it's like, you know. You might not be in the cage, but you are a fighter, and the things you do to make sure you turn up for these fights is insane. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it all stems from His Highness's pure belief in me and the Hawk, Muhammad Shahid. They're to a point where they have, you know, coming into this, there were so many different cage announcers that they could have selected, right? There were celebrities out here. There were people that were fully qualified to do it. And the fact that they chose me and risked a lot, right? And there was a lot of people going, why are you choosing this guy? Why is he here? Why not a local, this and that? And Shahid was like, we're getting the best in the game. We want the best representation we can for a product, and you're going to see. Just like our announcers, Phil Campbell is from Ireland, Kieran Jeunesse is from the USA. These guys are amazing behind the mic and doing commentary. But I do have to say that, before a Brave, it was before Abu Dhabi, I had a widowmaker heart attack.
Oh, Jesus.
They had to put 2 stents in me. They wanted to do more. And my wife came to the hospital, of course, right away as the ambulance took me away. And they kept taking me up a floor. And it's worse and worse, right? Finally, I'm in
more critical.
More critical. And I spent 5 days in ICU, intensive care unit. As high as you can get in the hospital. I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make a joke out of it.
I didn't know where I was. I could have been on the roof, right? But so 5 days in intensive care unit, and my wife goes, finally, you're able to come home. Wow, the family, this is incredible. You're going to heal. I'm going to take care of you. And I said, baby, pack my bags. I'm going to Abu Dhabi. She said, what? I said, baby, please pack my bags and let's go to, I'm going to go to Abu Dhabi. And I went to Abu Dhabi. And a few sessions after Abu Dhabi, it was right before Brave Jordan. I had a hip replacement surgery. I've had 28 surgeries, by the way. So I had a hip replacement surgery, and they took out the stitches too early. And when the guy took it out, I said, well, we should wait for the doctor to take this out. And he said, dude. And I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, shoot. And he goes, I probably shouldn't have taken him out so early. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know. Sent me home. Went home. My hip exploded.
Jesus.
Thank God it exploded outwardly and not inwardly, or I would have died. But it was like a crime scene in bed. It was just layers of blood just all over. I bled for 6 weeks. 2 weeks into that, we had Jordan, Brave. I think it was like Brave 9. And I again said, baby, I'm going to Jordan. And I went to Jordan with bleeding on a flight, which, blood clotting and all that isn't the smartest thing in the world. But that's the kind of commitment I have toward Brave. I don't take this like anybody else, I think announcing in the world. To me, this is life or death. And the reason I go there is because like 3.5 years ago, we were talking a little bit. My daughter is incredible. She's 5 years old, beautiful, the most amazing thing in my life, but she's blind and autistic. And His Highness, Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmad Al Khalifa, grabbed me one night and he said, Carlos, can your daughter see still? And I said, Your Highness, no, she can't. And I didn't even know that he knew I had a daughter, first of all, and that I didn't even know that he cared, like that. And when he did that, he goes, I said, no, Your Highness, she can't see. And he said, I want to help, and grabbed me. And I just broke down in tears. Never cry really in my life, right?
God bless.
This made me, I can't thank him enough. But this is who His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmad is. He changes lives daily and no one knows about it. He doesn't want the fanfare. He doesn't want, as we talk, the accolades. He doesn't want the press. But this man has changed more lives than anyone I've seen. I'm a former captain in the United States Marine Corps. And I've seen a lot of great leaders in my life. I have never, ever in my life seen anyone like Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmad Al Khalifa. He is the greatest, most caring leader I've ever seen. And you combine that now into a fight organization, and it's changing sports. They're not an event company. It's a sport. It's not a one time, we're going to come to your country and we're going to have an event and we're going to be gone. It's how do we help this country economically benefit? How do we change their system that they can grow and mature and seek the rewards that they deserve,
and build bonds, obviously,
and build
internationally,
bonds internationally. And I'll tell you what, they've done this over 6 years better than anybody in the world. Any other organization, we're having an event in Kentucky. Well, we'll be at the blah 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 casino, and they never see them again. Not with Brave. The Hawk Muhammad Shahid comes in. His Highness comes in, all of Brave staff, Faith, Valeria, everybody. And the aim is to change lives for the better. So there's a much bigger picture than what I'm doing, right?
Can I ask you a question? So at the moment, Brave is like a gateway, I guess, to the sport, right? People start out in their local countries, whatever local organization they have.
Right.
Then they get promoted to Brave.
Right.
And then from Brave, they'll end up, like, let's say in the UFC, which is their current dream. That's the path of a fighter at the moment. Do you envision that it could change, that UFC fighters might want to end up being in Brave at some point?
100%. I mean, you look at, Jose Shorty Torres with Brave. He's from the UFC. He came to Brave. He's a 2-time IMF gold champion winner. He has an incredible resume. He's only lost one fight. He had a 33 fight winning streak.
Wow.
And 33
that hurts just hearing it.
I know, right?
In the UFC or all across?
Amateur to pro.
Yeah.
He was, funny thing about him, he lost his first fight. And then he went on and won 33 in a row after that.
That's insane.
Don't jinx it now.
No jinx. And he's fighting in the co-main event on Friday night. But he will tell you, I get treated so much better with Brave Combat Federation than I did with the UFC. And that is the tone from every fighter that I've talked to as well, because there's that. Brave is a fighters for fighters. It's all built on, everybody in the organization pretty much has competed in one way or another in fighting. And so they understand the struggle and the sacrifice that these fighters have. They're the only organization I will see that a fighter might come in ready for the fight. And then the doctor says, you know what, your eye, you have something wrong with your eye. Brave will say, we're going to still pay you your purse.
No way.
You can't
even if it doesn't turn up.
Yep. you came to fight.
That's it. That's amazing.
It's that loyalty like that makes you loyal to the core, that you don't want to go anywhere else. Another thing, if you look at Brave, we were talking a little bit about their marketing program. If you go to Brave Combat Federation on Instagram and social media, they blow up their fighters. Like we brand our fighters. We help their branding. We help their exposure globally, to the extent of, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And some of these guys are realizing that, the big push to get somewhere else, you've got to look at where you're at and enjoy that and seek that. We've had so many great fighters. I've been honored to have, just so many incredible guys like Muhammad Fakhreddin, Jarrah Al-Salawi, Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi. I mean, these guys are heroes out here in the Middle East, and they've done so much and have such a great following, and Brave has embraced that.
You saw that fight with Khabib, right? Where he was like, I'm not going to talk any more shit.
Right?
And then he was just...
Are you talking about the fight with Conor?
Yeah. And where he tried to climb out of the ring.
Speak now. No. Did you see
He did climb out of the ring. Remember?
Yeah.
He went
He
after
did.
Dylan Dennis.
Yeah.
He did.
And Las Vegas said they're not going to pay out his earnings or his winnings, I think.
And he didn't even
They didn't
care.
want to give him the belt either.
That was we said there would be too much mayhem.
Yeah.
Which I didn't agree about.
But the funny thing about that fight, when they're like, why did you go and jump out of the ring and like get out of the cage and continue? He's like, because he tapped. He's like, my blood is not satisfied yet. You know what I mean?
I
He
don't
tapped
blame
too
him.
fast. I wanted a war. He didn't give me a war,
Right.
And that's why in the ring he's like, speak now. Talk now.
And we've definitely have to remember there's some things that some lines I think shouldn't be crossed, right?
There's some
when you
cycles out
start
there.
going into your family, your religion, your country. I mean, right? That's why Khabib was fired up. He was like, "You're talking about my father who passed away." Yeah. I mean,
No, he hadn't passed away yet at that point. But remember,
true, he hadn't passed away, which is almost even worse.
Yeah, I know, right?
He was alive.
And remember, like when Conor flew down, got the bus, and he took the chair and threw it on the bus.
And thank God that Dolly hit that little barrier.
Yeah.
Because if it would have gone straight through the window,
But some fighters got cut from the glass, and they ended up in hospital.
Been killed from that. I can't believe the strength of Conor picking up a 6-foot dolly and throwing it like that, like it was a toothpick. That was pretty impressive, actually.
Well,
but not the
Of
act,
course,
but of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
but to be honest,
They build hype like no one.
the thing is, the UFC used that footage in
Of
all
course.
their ads.
Yeah.
Right? So they promoted this.
Right.
And at the end of the day, what I love about MMA, right? And I think this is what UFC came to, right? Because they're like, look, boxing's dying. It's good. You got the same fighters who don't want to fight, and very rarely
it's for the paycheck. You can kind of.
It's not like the Mike Tyson days, right?
Right.
Or the Prince Nassim days, you know, where you got that hype, that excitement, those fighters. You know what I mean? So MMA struggled in the beginning because obviously, like, it's a new sport, and they're trying to build up the hype.
Right.
And UFC, being a private business, obviously needs to sell those pay-per-views, right?
Right.
And so it's almost like a blend between the WWE
Yeah.
and real fighting.
Yeah.
And so they need the entertainment behind it.
Yeah.
Hamza got into a scruffle with, what was his name again?
Don't look at me.
Nurmagomedov.
No, it was his teammate.
It was one of Khabib's.
One of Khabib's teammates who had fought that night. And they shake hands, they get into a scruffle, they start pushing each other, it became a whole big drama, right?
Right.
Until the president of Chechnya made them sit down together and have peace.
Yes.
Imagine, it's like being in the principal's office, you know what I mean?
It was totally, yeah.
But I'm
could
saying,
tell they had to
but
be
that
there,
sells.
and they had
That
to-
sells,
Yes.
right? And you can tell Hamza is now taking the bad guy role intentionally. You know what I mean? He started out as someone that people love, and then he missed weight, and he's like, like flagging them off, like screw you guys and all of this stuff. I kill everyone. I kill everybody. but that sells.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a UFC guy that had like a rope that some guy hanged himself with, and he would use it to wrap his arms with it? Some ridiculous. Yeah. You're looking at me like something's clicking.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's clicking.
it's
yes.
Polish. I think he's a Polish dude.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
He actually used the rope, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
brought
yeah,
it
yeah.
into the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally think I think there are lines. I think we have such a great sport and the purity of the sport that we can keep family, religion, and country out of it. I think once I start hearing that, then I'm like, you know what? Let's get back to our roots a little bit from martial arts.
Yeah.
The respect, the honor, and all of that. I'm all for a guy branding himself and making whatever name he can off.
Making it seem.
But do you remember when Conor lost to Dustin Poirier by breaking his feet?
Yes.
And he's on the floor, and Joe Rogan's giving him the mic, and what is he saying? Your wife's in my DMs. Your wife's in my DMs.
Yeah.
I was like, insane. You know what I mean?
It was crazy. Yeah. He's like, I'll fight you in the parking lot. His foot is backwards. But that's the mentality of a fighter, right? I mean, he's ready to go.
But that's what sells, is my point.
Right.
So I'm waiting, and I don't know. Like,
Connor's a genius.
Connor is he's a marketing genius.
Marketing genius. That's
why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Right?
But wait. Do you think that Conor has the same level of, let's say, hype as Muhammad Ali did? Because Muhammad Ali, for his time, right? He was very controversial,
and there was no social media in that time,
right?
He didn't want to go to the Vietnam War, right? That made him very, very big.
Yeah.
Remember that famous poem, "Fly like a butterfly, sting like a
float
bee,
like a butterfly, sting like a bee." Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that was like his whole avenue at the time, which was controversial.
Yeah.
No other fighter ever talked about a match.
But he's the one who invented trash talk.
Yes.
In fights.
He definitely paved the way.
He
was the first.
He paved the way. And so
the Chael Sonnens and
Chael Sonnen, amazing trash talker, right? We love trash talkers.
Yes.
And I'm saying, in Brave, are we going to get trash talking soon?
That's the thing. With the atmosphere that His Highness has created, it really is difficult. Different.
It's respectful. That's the problem.
It is, but these guys know they're going to fight anyway. So they're going to throw down. But yes, it does build the public anticipation for the fight if there is some type of controversy.
And the profile of the fighter.
Correct.
So it's to his own benefit.
There's a reason
the actual fighter.
why WWE is so popular, right?
Even though just everyone knows it's fake, but they'll watch it for the trash talk.
Right.
That's what sells it, is the drama, right?
Exactly.
It's WWE is, I think, the second most. What is it? First it's the US, then it's Saudi Arabia. Popularity-wise, I think Saudi is the second.
I mean, for sure. I know it's huge out here.
Have you ever been to a WWE fight live?
I have never.
Okay, if you
considered even the possibility.
If you watch it live, right? So like I watched it once when I was living in Kuwait, and it was called WWF back then.
Right.
And it's when you're there in real life, it's so fake. Like you can see the gaps in the punches.
Right.
Whereas on TV, you don't see that stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's way more entertaining on TV than it is in real life. And they changed the whole storyline because they're in Kuwait, right?
Sure.
So this guy's supposed to hate this guy, yet now they're friends, just for Kuwait. And it doesn't make any sense, And I was like, but when I watched Brave and I went to that fight, there was some adrenaline that I was watching, and it was so serious, right? That it's the best thing probably I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was surprised because...
And that's not a sales pitch. That's
not a sales pitch.
That's just you being you.
That's just me being me. I'll tell you, MMA is different to WWE. Why? Because WWE looks better on TV. MMA looks better in real life. Mm-hmm. Like when you watch when you watch a fight on TV, you can't feel the same because when you hear the thundering sounds of a punch, you know what I mean? And the cage and like this is brutal.
Yeah.
But on TV, it's like, it looks normal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I actually recommend anyone to go watch it live first. You get a different feeling.
You're in for a real treat if you come Friday night because there's going to be not only huge fights happening, but we've also got Hasbullah. Great Hasbullah is coming into town.
Yeah. Wow. What is Hasbullah? How did he get involved in this, by the way?
He has ties in with Khabib and those guys. I think he's from Dagestan.
He is from Dagestan.
Yeah, so
they call him Little Khabib.
Little Khabib, yeah. So he's been a big fan and he's been embraced by everybody. I can't wait to meet him and give him an introduction that will be fun for him too.
Yeah.
But we're just happy that he's coming here and sharing his great name with our sport.
That's tribute to you guys because from what I understand, Hasbullah is officially signed with the UFC. So the fact that he would turn up to a Brave event, that shows the power of Brave. And I know His Highness was at that event, the last event, the last UFC event.
His Highness was actually in the corner of Muhammad Mokaev, which is amazing. And you know what? They really didn't pick that up on TV. They didn't mention the Prince of Bahrain is in the corner of Muhammad Mokaev.
Because you know what's amazing about His Highness? When he's in your corner, you can't tell he's royalty, right?
Right.
He will pick up the towels. He will do what it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's one of the team. He's one of the crew. He's not some prince that like.
He's not hands off, is what you're saying.
He's
hands on.
He's not. No, he is hands on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't. It's not like you can't tell the difference between him and anyone else in the corner. He's as enthusiastic.
Hat
as
on backwards, right?
That's it.
He's incredible, and he wants to be one of the people in the crowd. He doesn't want to be spotlighted like that, which makes him even more incredible. But yeah, he's going to be here. Muhammad Mokaev is actually in Hamza's corner. Hamza, the growth of this guy has been incredible, and just the dedication and commitment. And I just can't imagine, being the pride of Bahrain, to have like we said, a whole country on your back. That's a lot of pressure. Every time fighting, having His Highness supporting you, knowing you're his guy, that's pressure in itself. But
you know what's interesting, and I'll tell you, like with Hamza, it's like he's a humble guy.
Yeah.
But it's because in Bahrain in general, the population, our behaviorism, and we are all humble people.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna find some loudmouth, crazy person here. Right. Which I wish he would be more vocal. But it's just not how we're brought up, if that makes sense.
Right. And then you have personalities like Muhammad Mokaev, who is willing to say whatever is on his mind and speak the truth and talk about black belts, and he disregards them and all of that. This he's on fire. He's only 22 years old. Mokaev.
Well, for potential fighters who are listening, who are either thinking of being signed up for the UFC or still kind of in the middle zone and not sure where to go, give us a sales pitch. What would attract them? How would they reach out? How would they kind of raise that firelight?
Because basically, I noticed one thing. Whenever I post anything and I tag Brave, I get fighters messaging me in my DM with their videos and stuff, and I want to be in Brave. I was like, I don't know how you're gonna be in Brave. You know what I mean? I'm not in Brave. Like I don't know. What should these guys do? Which is the question here. Imagine you have some amateur in North Africa that no one's heard of, hasn't had a professional fight yet, but is dedicated to this sport, doesn't know how to progress. What should he do?
First thing you have to do, we have two guys. Sam Brett, who is an amazing all-around, incredible, not only matchmaker, but facilitator to everything concerning the fighter's needs. Reach out to Sam Brett, reach out to Muhammad Shahid, and let them know what you're doing. Send them your Sherdog, send them your fights. They are willing to look at everybody and give you an opportunity.
They're going to curse at you today, right? They're going to get thousands of people.
Spam does look like
sorry, Sam. Sorry, Hawk.
They're going to get thousands
of DMs
of people who just started maybe the second or third week into it.
Right.
Because
how many fights do you have? Well, I haven't fought yet.
I'm
someone to look at.
By the way, that's the case, because from all these people who send these DMs, they're sending training footage. And I'm like, I can't sell your training footage. Where's your fight footage, right? What's your record?
Look how good I am. I'm 6 months in.
But some guys, it is true. Some guys, the Hawk has had to look at, and Sam Brett, because they're so relentless. Admittedly by the Hawk, who's saying, this guy just kept emailing me, like 100 emails. So if you want it bad enough out there, show it, prove it, it's there. You can grab it, especially with a place like Brave Combat Federation, that we want to highlight the underdog, the Rockies out there. We want that story. We want you to be a hero in your country for everybody to emulate. And then look out, now the world knows about you.
Yeah.
So it's a transgression that is incredible. There's no bigger platform, I feel, than Brave Combat Federation as far as what they can do with somebody's career immediately. And to have the support of His Highness, No one can say that in any organization in the world.
You've done an event in India, right?
Many.
Were there Indian fighters over there? Like, are
Yes.
you watching Indian fighters? How are they, by the way?
Abdul Munir, Kantaraj Agasa. There are Muhammad Farhad. There are some great Indian fighters that are on the rise. And India, whenever we're there, they are the best fans in the world. I can't even go to the bathroom in India without having security walk me because I just get flooded with people.
Everyone knows you there?
Everyone knows me there.
Like their fight videos, they're watching quick while I go in.
They did analytics on my followers, and like 70% were from India. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
India is so hungry for mixed martial arts, and Brave has been there countless times. And every time we go there, it's just an incredible experience. And the fans, while they are learning about the sport, they're not as knowledgeable as some of the other fans around the world. They're so passionate about it. And, the Hawk being part Indian as well, he has a special allegiance to them.
Yeah.
We have one of our business executives with Brave, Mohammed Mansoor, who is from India as well. And man, they have kept that relationship going, and we expect to continue to do great, huge things with India.
Someone sent me a video yesterday, and I don't know who this guy is, right? Like, as in the video, it's an Indian fighter in the UFC, and he's like, UFC, here we come. And I was like, wow, you got an Indian fighter in the UFC.
Right.
When did that happen?
Right. And think about that market. We had talked about almost 2 billion people, right? I mean, that market is untapped. And if we have and cultivate the right fighters from there, wow, you can really just make their life.
The last fight I went to, the first event, there was a Pakistani fighter.
Yes.
And he won.
Yeah. And we've been to Pakistan as well. Again,
can I ask a political question?
No,
not political, but
we can cut it out.
Are the Pakistani fighters better or the Indian ones?
They're the same, aren't they? They were the same until like 1947.
They're not the same, by the way.
Yeah, they were.
Huge rivalry there.
Huge rivalry, yeah.
I learned about.
That's why I asked the question.
Like
Dude, independence of India only happened in 1947. Prior to that, they were one country.
But I mean, look, Pakistan has what's the boxer's name?
I don't know. Imran Khan.
Imran Khan. Yeah, world champion, right? So I mean, and then I was watching the Pakistani fighter at the Brave event. I was like, he was amazing as well.
Right. Look, I love India. I love all these countries that we go to. Some are very special to my heart. Just a testimony to what Brave, the scouting program goes, the depths of what they go. We have a fighter from South Africa, Nkosi Ndebele. He is from literally raised by his mom in the slums of South Africa, talking about not even a tin roof, like a cardboard box for a home. We found him.
How did you find him?
Our scouting goes so deep into every country. We have Mzwandile Longwa. You may remember him. He did the spinning back fist in a show.
Yeah.
Over 15 million views.
Yeah.
He's a Brave fighter as well. And he went against Hamzat Chimaev and actually gave Hamzat a little bit of a run, for a little while.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of stretches and how far Brave will go to find you if you can fight. So now Nkosi Ndebele, his nickname's the Future. He's a young guy. Look him up. I mean, he is the future of...
What's his name?
Nkosi Ndebele.
He wasn't the guy at the last event, right?
He was going to fight in the
one
last event.
with the cancelled fight.
Correct. That was him.
And he said, I'm the future champion. I'm the future of the sport.
That's him.
That's him. Okay.
He definitely is. Watch him. He's
What's
super
his
athletic.
backstory?
He's started, I believe he had kind of a karate background way back when, and then got ingrained in mixed martial arts, and now he has a car, he has a home, he has sponsors. I mean, you talk about changing lives for the better. That's what we're all about. So myself, going into every show, I always have geared everything off the fighters. if it weren't for the fighters, we wouldn't even be there, right?
Sure.
And having a Hollywood background a little bit, I've done some acting and things like that.
You've done acting?
Yes, okay. My goal was always bring that Broadway, Hollywood, Bollywood flair into the cage and make it so dramatic that people want to see. They're yearning to see. And then
you haven't seen him live. He's insane. he changes the mood of the stadium.
Well, there's no business like show business, right?
By the way,
clearly, he's living the dream.
I will say this now.
Thank you, brother.
Carlos,
Thank you for saying that.
Probably the best announcer in the cage. And like I said, I don't even know the name of the guy, but the UFC announcer who is really famous. He has nothing on Carlos.
Okay.
You should watch. Like, you should come to the next fight and actually see him in performance. He's
I'd love
insane.
to. Yeah, I'll come.
He's so loud. He's so
Done and done.
the Roaring Lion.
the Roaring Lion, and he literally is the Roaring Lion.
And that nickname, by the way, was given to me. It's not right. Hey, I'm the Roaring Lion, right? I came here, I started doing some shows, and something about my voice and the intensity and all of that. They said, you are the Roaring Lion.
Yeah,
from now on.
and it
Yeah,
fits,
now that you say
fits.
it, you know what? It clicks in my
fits.
brain. You're right.
Can you give us the intro that you do? Brave Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all those watching in the magnificent kingdom of Bahrain and the millions watching around the world, are you ready?
Wow. How did he practice that?
Long time. We've done 65 shows now, so it's been a great long road. But man, everything for me, you can't fake anything in the cage. You can't fake fighting. You can't fake announcing just because I want to be an announcer or something like that. I have a true passion for these guys. I love every guy and woman that goes in the cage. So my mission is to give the introduction that I would want going into battle. If I could produce that
That's
for
so
you,
good.
will you fight to the maximum of your ability, and will the crowd be into it? And the rest has kind of fallen into place from there.
Do you play around with the catchphrase, or you just have it locked in?
I've had that locked in for a while.
Okay.
It just kind of came naturally, but it's something that there's nothing more pure than two men entering a cage and fighting.
What is it about that, by the way? Because this comes from the dawn of time.
It's
This is the gladiators back in the day, the Roman Empire, all empires. Like, what is it about people loving to watch two guys beat the shit out of each other?
Or two women now.
Who
have evolved incredibly well.
Two women now. But why do we enjoy watching this so much?
It's always, we want to see who the king of the jungle is. You want to see who the baddest man in the room is.
Is that our native?
It's our nature. We walk into a room in a party. Every guy kind of, you without knowing it, or maybe you do know it, they size everybody up. Oh, okay. There's something about humanity that's always been the strong survive. The lion is king of the jungle, right? We want to see who the baddest man or woman on earth is. And that's a show in itself. So let's have it. And Brave produces the best matchups. I'll tell you, our last two Braves, this will be our third event in 10 days, which is unbelievable. It's amazing I'm still talking. After you can
I feel
tell
bad
what I
for
put out.
making it
By the way, tell him the story you told me of after an event getting hospitalized.
So I'm a little different that I put myself completely into it, right? Like I just totally dive into it. After Brave 1, I was in the parking lot on my back. Fans were walking by me. And I just had nothing left. I just gone to the hilt. It probably was a red flag saying this guy might get a heart attack soon, right? Which I did. But the kind of effort that, is produced not only by me, but everybody on the team, it's all due to His Highness and due to the love of the sport. But Manolo Hernandez, who was a matchmaker back then for Brave and a coach from San Diego Combat Academy, 10th Planet, San Diego, with Richie Boogeyman Martinez and those guys. Boogeyman Martinez fought in that initial Brave.
Isn't Tony Ferguson now the boogeyman?
Tony Ferguson is actually a friend of Boogeyman's as well. They train together and all that.
And then they call him the boogeyman too? Is that not his nickname?
El Kakui, they call him.
El Kakui, which translates to boogeyman.
Yes. So, but that's the kind of effort that people put out for Brave, and it's so different from anywhere else. And Manolo walked by me and he's like, "Bro, are you okay?" I was in a full suit on the ground in the parking lot. But it's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good to go. But that's the kind of effort, that's the kind of intensity. And I've learned when people believe in you like that, you're willing to die in the cage. And it's a difference from any other organization. These guys are willing to die in the cage. I'm not effing around with that.
You're
serious.
So passionate. You're willing to die by announcing.
Well, you're dying to win, right?
As in, okay. Are your team willing to die?
Akash is definitely willing to die. I can promise you that.
To get the podcast out on time?
I promise you.
Really? So he's going to have his hands full.
I promise you. And I promise you, me and you are one of the few people. I mean, I click with you on that work ethic because I had a tumor removed on my back. And after that, I went for a meeting. I didn't even literally
take any time off or anything?
No, I just stitch up and I was like, all right, I got to go for a meeting. So I really get that.
It's different.
Exactly.
It's not everybody has it.
You just have to do it. You know, there's shit that needs to be done. I completely get that mentality. Yeah. And that's why our cash boy, he sleeps on the couch in the mornings in order to finish the edits in the night. I mean, it totally clicks.
You know, and if you see the Brave team, it's constantly... people are working around the clock 24/7. It's the most passionate organization I've ever seen.
I love that.
So yeah, that's, just a few of the differences that a Brave fighter will have. Plus, we really want worldwide peace. We really want everybody to get along. So we'll put, people from different countries who don't get along, and we'll make them get along, right?
I would love to see that.
That's also good content right there.
A Pakistani and Indian fighter. I would love to see that. Have you done that already?
We have done that.
Yeah.
And was the turnout crazy?
Incredible. Yes, it was incredible. And it was loud and it was amazing. Yes. Muhammad Farhad versus Lumi from Pakistan. And it was an incredible fight.
Was it Indian Muhammad Farhad?
Yes. And he knocked out his opponent, Lumi.
Oh, wow.
And it was probably one of the best knockouts you'll ever see. If you can YouTube that. It's really, really powerful.
We'll put it in the description.
But the Pakistani fighter, unbelievable. Incredible heart. I mean, you could tell. And then both afterward, hugged in the cage. Nothing but respect. Yeah. So, man, it's every country we go to, you kind of see... you see what they need, what they want, where they want to be, and we give that to them. It's really an incredible thing that from mixed martial arts that we can even bridge the gap of worldwide peace.
So where
it's really amazing.
That is amazing.
Where are you thinking Brave is heading in the next 5 years then? What's up the horizon? What's the planning? More training facilities? More back-end services, whether it be by portals to watch the matches, live online content, or do you think maybe more like a doco series where they follow the fighters maybe training? Good movie as a reference point is Pumping Iron.
Love Pumping Iron.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
I watched that movie so much that my wife is like, oh my gosh, Pumping Iron again? Really?
Yeah.
No, but in the UFC, they do this all the time, right? So with every fighter, they have documentaries on every fighter. And I hope that we can make all this content for the fighters here.
And Brave? I don't see why not. I think you'd have to have a crew following them for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
To get that in lock and key.
But it can be done.
The problem is you can't write the narrative beforehand, so it's up to the match who's going to win, right?
Yeah, which makes it even more fun, right?
Absolutely.
It's more dramatic. But to get to your point, there are reality shows looking in the future, movies, all kinds of talks already.
I was looking I was even asking Shahid about this. I was like, why don't you do something like The Ultimate Fighter? Which is how people get recruited into the UFC, right?
Right.
Where you've got this reality show in a house of fighters. They compete, and then the one who wins gets a contract with the UFC.
Right.
Which is great content.
Yeah.
And it's a great show that people would watch, and they would follow that fight. And Sugar Sean was a winner. And that's how he got into the UFC.
Yeah, and the great thing, like you said, no radio, no TV, no internet, and just put these, and then they may throw in some alcohol or
just let them go nuts.
Whatever,
let
them go nuts, and it's the best content ever. So yeah, there are talks about something similar happening with Brave. There's
facility-wise as well, maybe recovery gyms or
Brave gyms. There's Brave gyms popping up all over the world right now.
I didn't know that.
Pakistan has a Brave gym. They have Brave gyms all over locations already. Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Shows you how badly informed the two of us are.
What's that?
It fits with the content.
but this stuff's just happening as we evolve, right? Overnight. So it's kind of hard to even keep pace with it.
Because it's growing. It's growing.
It's growing and growing and growing.
And KHK team, like you said. By the way, why do you say they're the best team in the world right now? Is it because of the fighters? Is it because of the facilities? What is it that makes them the best?
First of all, it's the fighters, of course. These guys are the best in the world. They're a mix, from different countries that all form as one. They train together.
A lot of Dagestani guys in the team.
A lot of Dagestani guys.
And I heard there's a Brave or KHK gym in Dagestan.
Right, exactly. Well, that's where Eldar Eldarov is from, and he's a good friend of Khabib's from way back when. They actually interviewed Khabib and said, "Who's your hero?" And he said, "Eldar Eldarov is my hero." And this guy is just incredible, and to be at a young age, not only a champion but the head coach for His Highness. I mean, what an honor! Like these guys are trained the right way. The facility, of course, is unbelievable. But if you put KHK Team Bahrain, in a setting, say an MMA Super Cup of what we had last year, they completely swept everybody. They had the top 8 teams in the world, and KHK Team Bahrain just dominated.
There's a fighter. I can't remember his name for the life of me now, but he's in the UK, and he's a KHK boy, and he's so good, and he's 21, and he's from Dagestan, I think.
You're talking about Mohammed Makayev? He's 22. He just turned 22, so we could be...
Is it Mohammed Makayev?
I think it is, yeah.
He speaks English well.
Speaks English well. He has fans in the UK. He has fans in the US. He has fans here.
Yeah.
And in Dagestan, he has a lot of fans.
But he's based in the UK, right?
Correct.
Okay. And he's so good.
Unbelievable talent. And... he's the future,
But is he UFC now?
He's in the UFC.
He's not Brave anymore.
No, he just won.
Was he Brave before that?
He was Brave before that.
Okay.
And he is the hottest young prospect right now in the UFC.
So what are you guys doing to win him back then?
No.
That's the thing. We want him successful.
Okay.
Whatever he does. If that's the great thing about His Highness and the Hawk too. If you have brighter horizons and pastures, go for it. We've enjoyed you. We've done what we can with you. And we know at heart you'll always be a member of KHK, Team Bahrain. But some of the guys have to, go out on their own and
spread
see
their
what they
wings
can
and
do.
then come back as well, right?
Exactly.
Because they want to fight the best fighters in the world, obviously, right?
Right.
And I noticed something which is what I find really interesting about MMA. It's like in real life, if we go outside of martial arts,
right,
we don't want to compete against the best. We rather beat the losers. Let's talk about in business or whatever. Why would I want to compete against Steve Jobs? Let me compete against people I can beat.
Right.
Steve lost.
I'm saying, but I'm saying, but it's interesting, right? Because normally we just want a guaranteed win to make our life easier.
What, in the region or as human beings?
As human beings, normally.
I don't know. No way. Fighters love climbing the uphill battle.
No, but I'm saying okay.
You're saying normal people.
I'm saying normal people outside of fighting,
yeah.
With everything we do, no matter what your job is or what you do,
sure,
you want to make sure you can win, right? Because winning feels good. So you don't want to be oh my God, I got to climb this mountain right now in order to beat this guy or this company or whatever.
Especially in business, right?
Especially in business. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't want the fight in business.
Yeah, exactly. The faster I can get the win, the better. Right. You know what I mean? I don't want to be oh my God, my business does this. Let me go compete against Apple or Microsoft. No, I want to compete against the guys I can beat.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But in fighting, it's really interesting is that they're like, no, I want to beat the top guy in the world. That's a different mindset that we don't normally have.
Yeah, but is that the fighter's mindset or is that the fighter's dad mindset?
No, it's like, imagine.
I feel like a lot of fighters are fighters for their dads.
If you were a boxer back in the day, you're not going to be like, oh, I really want to fight Mike Tyson. This guy's going to knock you out, he's going to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, I want to fight someone I can beat. You know, I don't want to fight that guy. And when he kills me, it's going to ruin my reputation and like my career is going to go down. And there's so many like negative and adverse effects to it.
It's true.
But I notice in MMA, everyone wants like, no, I want the best. I want the guy who's going to kill me. That's the guy I want to fight.
Right. That's what
Where
makes
is
it
that
so
passion
incredible.
come? Where does that come from?
It's that internal fortitude, right? It's that incredible drive that you can't teach to people, right?
I mean, you're purple belt jiu-jitsu, so you fought.
Yes.
What does that feel like when someone's just smashing you in the face?
You've never been smashed in the face before?
I've never been smashed in the face.
Oh, I've been smashed in the face before. It's not very enjoyable.
I want to know from a fighter's point of view. Like, what does it feel like?
You know, I actually feel I'm a little bit different that way. I kind of like it.
Okay.
It kind of wakes me up. It
Wakes you up.
It wakes me up, and it's like, okay, I respect that. That's really good. Good job.
What do you mean?
Now it's my turn to
What do you mean?
bring it on, right?
What about the pain?
Thank you, sir.
In the Marine Corps, they said pain is temporary, pride is forever.
Yeah.
And I really feel that testament is true. I really do. It just it's something about being challenged like you've never been challenged before in your life.
Okay, before going,
Yes.
Can you explain what does the pain feel like?
I have a very high threshold for pain, so the
Clearly.
pain to me doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, no matter what
you
it
do
is.
jiu-jitsu,
Right.
So clearly
And
you've
boxed
been,
before
and
as well.
boxed. So clearly you've been choked out.
Yes,
Many
a time.
Many times. What does being choked out feel like? What's the physical feeling of being choked out?
It feels like the lights are going out in your head, and you see stars, and everything goes black.
Is it the same for me then?
Just your body kind of goes limp.
So
You lose
do
all-
you feel like you're dying or?
No.
You do
Because
feel
you get out of breath, right?
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
you're going to go out of breath.
Yeah.
It's like if I was in a swimming pool and I was holding my breath.
Right.
After 30, 40 seconds, I feel like I'm dying. Right?
Wait. But there's a difference between being choked out from a windpipe and being choked out from your blood vessel. There's a huge difference.
What's the difference?
So with the windpipe is that you're not able to breathe, like if somebody's choking you down.
Yeah.
And then if you put someone in like a triangle grip, then they're not able to get blood flow to the brain. So it's a very, very different kind of knockout. With a brain one, it's kind of like just immediately,
Yeah,
like
right.
somebody pressed a hard switch on your body.
Yeah.
While the chokeout one, it's a lot of struggle, and then you kind of accept it, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's it.
How long does it take to recover from that?
about 10 seconds. It
That's
depends. Yeah, it's not very long. It seems like an eternity when you're out, though.
Okay.
But and you don't realize it, but when you're back, you're like, okay, I'm
You're
back.
back to
Thank
normal.
goodness I'm back.
Your brain's not damaged in the process.
No, and that's a big thing. Like, people say, oh, MMA is barbaric. For those
Sure.
people out there, it's like human
Yeah.
cockfighting, they called it, and it really is the safer sport if you compare it to boxing, because in boxing those guys are taking hit after hit after hit
Because it's striking.
per fight, right? They just keep getting hit.
Brain damage.
In MMA, you may land a great shot or two, and that might be it, right? You're
Yeah.
not going to take 500 jabs and rights to the head like you do in boxing. So for the longevity of the fighter, mixed martial arts is safer than boxing is.
What do you think is worse? Getting choked out or getting knocked out? Like, what hurts or is more painful?
Probably getting knocked out, because that's really just kind of crippling your entire body,
Yeah.
from a very violent blow. So I would say that
Getting knocked out.
Yeah, getting knocked
So-
out.
Okay, so your jaw's not going to break, right?
Wait, what?
You hope.
You hope.
You hope your jaw won't break. Yeah.
It's like, how are you so certain?
No, because I watch these fights, right? And I'm like, these are human beings with skulls.
Would you like gin?
I'm good. I'm still working on this. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm perfect. Actually.
I said these.
That's why we did top ups. That's why we had a cigarette. We're like,
Love
might
it.
as well do both of them at the same time. Go on. You want to know about getting smashed in the face? It's not a fun experience, boy.
Do you get a ringing sound in your ear when you get?
Yes.
Because I've been punched in the face, like really hard, but sucker punched. So I wasn't even prepared for it.
Right.
So I wasn't like trying to do anything to stop it.
Right.
And then just hit this like really loud ringing sound in my ear for like 2 minutes.
I think.
And I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, why'd you do that? You know, like, but.
And I just think, with fighters, it's such a different type of animal, such a different breed,
So
right?
when you're training,
like
you
said,
get smashed in the face while training
Yes.
in order to get you accustomed to it.
Yes.
In
But
sparring
is so different now than it was 20, 30 years ago
because of the gloves.
because people are smarter.
And then
They used
don't
to
wanna-
beat people up in the gym, and then they get to their fight and they, have a good fight or not, but the longevity of their career has gone down significantly. Now guys spar smartly and a lot better, and they don't go as hard. You looked at guys in the past like Vanderlei Silva, from Brazil. He would go all out every sparring session and literally go to behead the guy he was training with.
Jesus.
Now we're like, these are our training partners. We want to keep them healthy, alive, and able to train with me more so I can get better. So it's less barbaric, it's more smart, and it's more science.
Do fighters still watch old tapes from their opponents, or is that something that just happened like 20 years ago?
For sure.
Still thing.
Yeah.
Because
you definitely want to know.
This is why,
Especially in MMA, right? You need to know, hey, is this a ground guy? Is this guy going to go after a double leg on me or a single when he gets a chance? Is he going to be exposed maybe to a quick knee that I can throw right there, or an uppercut as he's coming in? Or is he going to be more of a stand-up guy with me? Is he a Taekwondo guy, or is he a kickboxing, Muay Thai kind of guy? So, you definitely want to know who you're fighting and study as much tape as possible.
this is okay. Let me give you my breakdown on this. Okay.
Here it is.
The expert.
No. Like as a nervous person, and I'll tell you why I loved MMA. Initially, I thought it's two guys in a fight in a cage, beat the shit out of each other. Whatever happens, right?
Right.
The more I got into the sport, the more I realized it needs brains.
Right.
Because I thought it was barbaric. Barbaric sports don't need brains. Like, as in limited brains, cool. But then I realized this is like chess. Doesn't matter if the guy's bigger than you, stronger than you, or whatever. But that's why, coming back to your point about watching the tapes, right? It's like, okay, he behaves in such a way, so I'm going to use this. And we've got 3 rounds, 5 rounds, whatever it is. I need to keep my breath. I need to keep my stamina. I need to react in this way and counter that way, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, this is actually a smart game. Like, you need to have brains. It's like playing chess.
Human chess match.
It's human chess.
Yes.
Right? It's not random. See, before you just think about it as a random barbaric act.
Right.
The more you learn about it, the more I'm like, this is not random. This is strategy.
If you look at our first Brave here, Brave 63, where Brad Katona from Ireland retained his championship belt, and he had his mastermind coach, John Kavanagh, who's Connor's coach and best friend as well. You see the science in it. Brad Katona is an electrical engineer. He doesn't need to fight. He wants to fight. And this guy, his nickname is Superman because he has the glasses and just so polite and incredible demeanor. But he studies film with John Kavanagh like no one you've ever seen. They come up with game plans that no one ever could expect that they come up with.
Yeah.
And he beat Hamza before in a split decision, if you recall, and got the belt. And then he just kept the belt by beating Gamzat. And I'll tell you what, he's like a scientist out there. He really is.
That's why I love it.
It's incredible.
It's actually educational.
Yeah, and he's
People
brilliant.
don't realize this.
He's a super smart guy. And you see him, he's like, oh yeah, we knew he was going to do this, so we did that.
Exactly.
Right? And we knew he'd tire by the 3rd round if I kept doing this and that. And it was so insightful to the mind of the new martial artist, right? The days of the Tank Abbotts and just the Hulks coming in there and just smashing things.
That's gone.
It's gone. I mean, some guys can do it. Hamzat can do it. Chimaev, who is a brave prodigy. But even he had a challenge with Gilbert Burns, right? And he was pushed to a new limit.
And with Gilbert Burns, what did he say? He didn't follow the strategy.
Right.
He went against his coaches.
Right.
Because they had a game plan.
Right.
But he wanted to show that he can stand up in a war. So if you saw in his corner, his coach was shouting at him the whole time, like, why are you not following the game plan?
Best coaches in the world, All-Stars
And
Gym
he
in
just-
Sweden. Shout out to you guys.
All-Stars
incredible.
amazing. Yeah.
Those guys are just on another level. And
But-
training with guys like
But
Alexander
you see, he
Gustafsson.
barely won because he didn't follow the strategy. And that's why I'm saying, that's what I find this really interesting. Because
Right.
as a smart guy, you come in and you're like, I got to follow this strategy. I got to follow this game plan, right? It's not random.
And don't let your ego get to you, right?
Don't let your ego get to you.
That's a big
that
thing.
is a tough one for fighters.
Yeah.
I think fighters have big egos.
And, you know, the king has a big ego, right? The king of the mountain usually has a big ego.
Yeah.
And to be placed in that position, you have to be Superman. You have to be that guy, you know, with the cape on that's ready to fly out of the building and save, you know, the masses. That's what you're meant to do. That's what you're here to do.
Well, that's what Arnold used to do, right? He used to go to his opponents and say, I told my mom that I've already won.
How great was that?
I just can't disappoint her. You know what I mean?
We talked about Ali in boxing, but as far as sport altogether too, Schwarzenegger was incredible doing that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
to tell your opponent, Lou Ferrigno, and
Yeah.
his family,
Yeah.
he's with his mom and dad, remember, at breakfast. He's
Yes, yes, exactly.
like,
That scene.
I called home. I said, I already won. And she's so proud, right? What are you talking about? It's amazing, but it got in his head.
Absolutely.
He's like, you're a month off.
Yeah.
It should have been a month from now, the show.
You know what's interesting? Two things. Like, so one, Connor, the reason he trash talks a lot because he wants to get into their head before the fight even begun. And so if you see him fight, most of his fights I used to win, like against Aldo, for example, he already was so intimidated that
Which
the
was
fight was
incredible.
already won mentally.
Aldo hadn't lost for 10 years.
Yeah.
And
And he
Conor
knocked him
came
out
in like
fast.
he owned him. Like
Yeah.
he said, I'm your daddy. Even in Brazilian TV,
Yeah.
they said, what's your name? He said, I'm his daddy.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah,
him
yeah.
I'm his daddy.
Exactly.
Unbelievable
So
stuff.
that mental, so the fight starts before the fight.
Right.
It's the mental warfare,
Right.
right? Just
Right.
get the guy intimidated, then that's half the fight won.
Well, how's the process starting between choosing two fighters for the next match to fight?
You want to see, first of all, who deserves it,
Okay.
who's exciting, who will be a great matchup. And it's more about who's going to play a role in the rankings for the division, who really deserves that shot, and how do we move them up the ladder if they win. So there's a lot that's going into it.
Because it's a business.
It's a business, right? And it is
There's only so many fights a fighter can do a year as well, right?
true.
I mean, unless he's just
You got to sell the
Going
ticket,
without a hitch.
And you got to sell the tickets.
that's
You
true.
remember Hamzat fought in the UFC like 3 times in 90 days or something ridiculous.
In Abu Dhabi when he did like 2 times in like 10 days.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. I mean,
And in different weight classes.
but he's old school. He's an old school warrior. We've had him in Brave. He's a good friend of mine as well. And this guy is
Do you know Hamza?
yeah, very well. Yeah, very well. We stay in touch.
Can you get him on a podcast?
Well, there we go.
What a sales pitch!
Hamzat, if you're out there, brother, listening.
I would love this guy on a podcast.
Yeah, he is the man. I mean, there's some guys who talk about it, and there's some guys who live it. And
Yeah, he's about living
he
it.
lives it, and as you see with his interviews and things with the UFC and all that, he doesn't really care what you think of him. He's going to do what
Yeah.
he wants to do,
Y-
and he's going to back it up. Which is a
you know,
scary thing
okay.
about him.
Who do you think anyone can beat Hamza at the moment?
I don't think so. I think
He's not going to speak ill of the man after
I
raising
think
him.
he's-
No, as in a fair question.
Yeah,
Like, do you think there's a fighter out there that
Past or present? Past or present?
better better question. Who do you think has the best chance of beating him?
That's tough. That's really tough because he's so different.
He's such a beast.
He is, and when you fight against a guy who's a wet blanket on you, it's a different game, right? All your skills are nullified.
You know,
right? If he's so good about getting inside. And by the way, if you want to strike with him, he's happy to do that.
that's
and knock you out too.
he showed that with Gilbert.
But remember, the guy before that was like 17 seconds.
He knocked him out. He's knocked him out. He told Dana, "I got hands. Let me show you."
Let me show you.
But here's what.
Danny, can you look up? There's a fighter.
Here's what I think.
He has the same punching power as a sledgehammer being swung down.
Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, right.
He has the same punching power as a Ford Escort,
but that's a different weight
hitting
class.
you at 30 miles an hour or something like that.
That's crazy.
But that's
Can you
a different
imagine
weight
that?
class. You
Nuts.
can't compare that.
Right.
They're not the same
heavyweight.
weight.
Yeah.
But what I mean, in his weight class.
You can't compare until you get hit by Hamza. Then you can go,
Well,
okay, yeah,
you know,
he hits like a heavyweight.
So I had a thought, and because me and my friends, we talk about this all the time, and I was like, okay, at the moment, I don't see anyone who can beat him, right? But what I can see is like his lifestyle, like as in he started out really poor. He wants to fight to just put food on the table, and like that being hungry is a big motivator.
Yeah.
So the number one question I have is like many other fighters, now that you become famous, you get money, you're relaxed, are you gonna have the same hunger, like to train the same amount and like go like to war, or do you get comfy? And I said this biggest possible weakness, and maybe it's not, you know what I mean, because it depends on him,
Right.
is will the lifestyle get to him? If the lifestyle gets to him, then other guys have a chance. If he stays the track, then no one has a chance.
And he's a guy who stays the track. Hamzat is a guy who doesn't drink. He doesn't party. He's always in the gym. And it's the guys that are able to be coerced into that alternate lifestyle, right? That will succumb to alcohol or whatever temptations are there.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that their career could go down.
Exactly. And you know,
Hamzat's not like that.
That's the funny thing. And so it's like in a modern world, and obviously like bring religion into this a little bit, these boys like Khabib and Islam and Hamzat, and you know, having that strict Islamic
Upbringing.
values and upbringing, no drinking, no partying, no whatever, that gives them an edge.
Big
like
time.
a massive edge. So whoever's watching this, like that is a massive edge.
It is.
We're not coming into your lifestyle.
For all the young fighters out there watching this, anybody who wants to be a fighter watching this, that is completely true. That's a problem, admittingly, that I will say with up and coming fighters from the United States. Is there so many temptations for this guy?
You become a celebrity and
South
you can
America
get everything.
as well, I imagine.
Exactly. And these gals as well, and they get thrown money and they have, options on what they can do.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
why should I train 12 hours a day when I can party and have beautiful women and do this and do that, right?
Right.
Yeah, but there's a very different attitude is when you're fighting to be the champion, and because you're fighting aggressive attack-wise, than when you are the champion, because then you're playing defensive.
No, but
right? There's a huge difference in mentality.
But like Arnold said, remember
Right?
he said they said the king of the hill can only go down.
Exactly.
The king of the hill can only go down. But
Exactly.
Arnold said yes, he
'Cause
could,
I-
but when he wants his food, it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what I noticed. So like with normal fighters, they get a fight, they go into a 3-4 month strict training camp, right? But when they're finished the fight, they can relax, have some drinks, go like enjoy their lives. These guys, no, it's like 12 months.
Yeah, but
I'm still training. While you're relaxing, I'm training.
Yeah, but recovery is also part of training, right?
No, there's recovery and there's recovery, right? So
You're
there's
sure?
like, okay, you can chill and just do nothing.
I wouldn't call that recovery, but okay.
or you can go like boozing, enjoying whatever. No, I'm saying a lot of these big fighters, and in boxing as well, right? It's not just in the UFC. Like it's just general. It's human nature.
Look at Khabib.
You get money, you get fame,
right? Look
Sure.
at Khabib.
Sure.
Money didn't change him. Money didn't alter him. He's still the same guy. He's focused as ever. He's now coaching, right, and doing a great job.
And he had the best quote. He said, "Money doesn't change a man. Money shows who he is."
Yeah, but don't you feel like the reason Mike Tyson managed to remain so long on top is because when he went to jail for, I think, 90 days or a little
No,
longer?
he was a couple of years in jail.
couple of years in jail, yeah.
At the prime of his career.
Exactly. And that really then put him in a situation where he was like, I want to get all that back.
No, but
Right?
if you see Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson's a great example of this because he was undefeated, beast, so fast. then he went into the whole drugs and chill and booze, and he would be boozing the night before his fight. Like, he doesn't care, you know what I mean? Because he knows he has the power.
Right.
But he didn't have the speed. He lost the speed because of that lifestyle. But Mike Tyson will says that himself. You know what I mean? So it's because he went on what I'm talking about is the lifestyle that as an athlete, as a fighter, takes you off. If he never changed, no one would ever have beaten him.
You're bringing up a very, very good point, because when you compare countries and work ethics and training, that has to come into effect where someone is drinking and injuring their body, staying out late and partying, and the same group is not. Who's going to eventually be
the guy who's not? And that's what makes sense about when people wonder, they're like, oh, these Dagestani boys are different. Are they? Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just because they don't drink. They train all the time. Pray, go home, repeat. You know what I mean? This is what they do every day. They don't have days off.
Yeah,
so
but
maybe it's a lifestyle that's different. But it's not your body, your genetics, or your DNA.
But in your argument, the USSR should have failed, but they won 1957 the Olympics, right? And they won it like no one else's business, right? And Russia is still way up there.
It's not that. If you see, like, I'm just saying, these fighters from Chechnya, Dagestan, whatever, who have the strict lifestyle. And when I say strict lifestyle, I'm not talking religion here. This has to do with health and your body.
Right.
Alcohol obviously destroys your body. They don't drink. So if you don't drink, you're bored, and they don't go out partying. They don't have nothing else to do.
They're not up till 4 in the morning.
They're not,
in the morning.
Exactly. They're not.
Fair,
and they're not interested in womanizing and whatever. So what are they interested in? If you've ever...
They're interested in winning. And that's what they do.
And fighting.
Yeah.
Like, that's their interest. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
We've had a couple
You can't compete against that.
In our last event was in Rostov-on-Don, Russia. And I'll tell you what, it's a testimony to what these guys are really all about. They're all business. I mean, all business. And their only goal is to win in that cage. So you compare that with another country that has so many different options of what these guys are all about, and they're trying to brand themselves, right? They're marketing themselves. These guys don't care about that.
Yeah. It's
like Khabib, right?
Sure.
He's just going to win. And
until today, he thinks the same. And by the way, every fighter Khabib trains wins. It's very and they asked, like, fighters that come into his camp, what's the difference? He's like, it's like going to the military when you're with Khabib.
Sure, but
there's no messing around. You know what I mean? It's harder, it's stronger, because this is what their life is about. This is their joy. And I'm saying, like, for example, with Sugar Sean, what does he say? Oh, just finish the fight. I'm not going to think about another fight. I'm going to go have some, go to the club, have some amazing chick, then go smoke some weed and whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like, but in fight camp, I am concentrated. He's talking about 3 months.
Right.
These guys are 12 months.
Right.
Every year.
it's the whole lives.
It's alive. So it's that lifestyle difference. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's about the lifestyle difference.
And that evolution, for those guys in particular, that's why they will always stay right on top.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always going to be a force that you have to deal with. Brazil really is the godfather of mixed martial arts, right? And we've seen back in the day, Brazil was the only game in town, especially with Royce Gracie coming out and Jujutsu and all that. And we've seen since 1993 that evolution. That you have to now be a complete fighter to be able to win in the cage. Back in that day, you could be just a ground specialist and win. Can't do that anymore.
Of course, I mean, the skill level has gone up and up and up as it become more and more competitive, right? Like somebody who is maybe third level or third grade, skill-wise or technique-wise, 10 to 15 years ago, might have become a champion. While today, there are third grade.
By the way,
they're not getting anywhere.
In MMA, what's amazing is the sport keeps evolving. So when you think you know every skill, then a new fighter comes along and does a new trick.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I haven't seen that before.
Right.
Like, we still don't know what full MMA is.
Who's that guy who does like a suplex and then does an arm bar mid-jump?
DJ.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, he's been training that for like 2 or 3 years to be able to do that, like, on command.
Which is incredible. Literally taking a guy down, right, and in transition going to an armbar.
Yeah.
one of the craziest athletic things you'll ever
innovations.
see.
It's always evolving. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. What I'm surprised about is not seeing more Iranian fighters in UFC. And maybe that's got to do with politics. Don't know, right? And the reason I say that is because Iranians are famous for wrestling.
Right.
As much as Dagestan is famous for wrestling,
Right.
Iranians always win gold medals in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like
And
they
they're
are the
coming.
wrestling kings.
They're coming.
Benil
I get messages
Dariush
from a
is
lot
an
of-
American Iranian. He's not an Iranian, right?
Right.
As in grew up in Iran, you know?
Right.
I'm surprised because I'm waiting. And I bet if people were scouting in Iran, they're going to find next level fighters
Yeah.
that can compete with Dagestan.
Yeah.
Sure. When MBS also has come out and says that he wants the European Union in the GCC, then we might see that day happening. But I don't see that anytime in the next 5 years.
but
that's why I pulled out the cigarettes.
But honestly, what I'm saying.
I mean, we might as well ask when are transvestites going to compete against men.
No,
against
no,
women.
no. You can't ask that. You can't ask that. Yeah, you can't ask that. But honestly, as a serious question, that's why when I saw Benil Dariush, who's an American Iranian,
I'm listening to you.
he's like on nine fight winning streak right now.
Which John?
Benil Dariush,
Yes.
he's done 9 fights.
Yeah.
He's an American Iranian,
Yeah.
right? But do you know what it is? That's why I understood Dagestan when I saw him. It's genetics. Some countries just have stronger bones, I guess. I
don't know, dude. I mean, we haven't seen China either. compete in
Americans,
UFC.
if you see Americans, they're big.
Yeah.
Americans are big and strong,
Sure.
but they have their passion.
Their BMI is also off the charts. There's no questions about that.
But I mean, if
like what is it? Didn't they say recently the DoD that they're having trouble finding participants who would fit an active military duty just because the sedentary and unhealthy lifestyle? They're having difficulties finding people to even begin training to qualify.
Right.
Isn't that
Their height
crazy?
and weight is off the chart, right? So they can't even accept
them.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I mean, the Middle East suffers from the same issue, obviously, from the sugar diet and stuff like that. We've got like, what is it? Like 30% of the population is obese. Yeah.
But the USA number is probly 60%, wouldn't it be? Or
Not
50?
as
a
bad.
lot higher.
Not as bad as Mexico. Mexico is almost like 70. It's crazy the obesity level.
But that food in Mexico,
It's
right?
delicious.
Come
What
on.
can you
But
say?
Tacos,
Yeah.
burritos, I love
have you ever heard of Kushti?
Kushti.
So in Iran, see, I'm Persian, right? So that's why I know, right? But in Iran, their national sport is called Kushti, which is wrestling, by the way.
Isn't that the same thing with like the Turkish?
But it's Iranian wrestling. It's different to Olympic wrestling.
Right.
It's like they train different. They're not like built guys. They're like guys with stomachs, but they're like strong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Strongman sort of thing.
Strongman, yeah.
Yeah, but it's only a local sport. So you know, I noticed in Dagestan they said they have Samba, right? Which is a Russian military level wrestling. That's why they're so good.
Right.
Iranians have Kushti. So they start in Kushti as a kid, whatever, you know, and then they obviously go because they want to go to Olympics, so they go Olympic wrestling.
Right.
But if you notice, they mostly in every Olympics, if you ever see medals from Iran, it's either in wrestling or taekwondo. These are their two sports. They're fighters, you know what I mean? That's their sport.
And to combine those two together will produce a great
That's it.
warrior.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I speaking of get hit up, I get hit up from guys all over the world.
What do you
saying,
do
"How I
with
fight?"
them? What do you do with them?
I direct them to Sam or the Hawk.
Oh, you actually
and
do
I
that?
appreciate,
But-
and I'm sure they appreciate that.
They do, yeah. But yeah, I mean, because in my role, right, I can't place you in a fight, but I can help get you there if that's what you want, and if you were talented enough to be there.
Yeah.
Then I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think there's money in being like almost not a Don King because that's a Shahid job, but like being like a manager for these fighters who you invest in these fighters?
Definitely.
Being a KHK almost, you know what I mean? But you just get one fighter,
What was that black guy?
invest in him, and take him to open doors for him, get him into the fights.
I
Is there
think-
money in that?
I think there is if you have 5 fighters, 10 fighters, right?
Oh, so you need
You can't just.
In case
It
rely
has
on
to be
one.
on scale.
Yeah,
Because in case they lose.
Danny, who was
if you
that?
put all your eggs in one basket, right?
You get
and
fucked,
they lose,
yeah.
you're done.
Danny,
So,
who was that guy with that black guy? He had like he was short and had an afro. The white. He was a fight fixer.
Fight fixer.
matchmaker or
I think he fixed fights as
fixed
well.
fights? Wow.
Yeah, it was. I think he was not Muhammad Ali. He was.
You talk about Don King?
Was it Don King?
He's a promoter.
He's like a short guy, Afro white.
Big white hair?
Yeah,
Don
yeah,
King. Don King.
But Don King was 6'5" or something.
He stole
Don
like
King's
$100
big.
million from Mike Tyson.
Was it him?
I think it was 300 million.
It was 300 million. So Mike Tyson was trying to sue. By the way, he stole from Muhammad Ali first. Then he stole from Mike Tyson. And the funniest thing is, I don't know if you know this, but like, so Mike Tyson out of prison, blah, blah. Don King's like, yo, I got a deal for you. Gonna make $20 million. You know what I mean? Sends him the private jet. Come see me so we can sign the contract. And Mike Tyson's on the plane and he's looking and he's doing a lot of cocaine at the time.
Right.
Mike Tyson tells the story.
Right.
And he's like, he's doing so much cocaine. And he's like, then I was like looking at the plane and I was like, this is my plane. He's using my money for this plane. So it's really my plane.
Right.
It's like, fuck this guy. So then they go meet and he beats the shit out of Don King in the
Really?
fucking car. Yeah.
He's a different
Mike
guy.
Tyson said, I'm broke.
Yeah.
I have nothing. About to make $20 million. But he's like, the cocaine got to my head. And he's like, so I start beating the shit out of Don King in the fucking car. And then Don King leaves him on the highway. You know what I mean?
He's a different guy. I was part of bringing Mike Tyson to India for a league that they had over there.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
We went over to Mike's house in Las Vegas, talked to him, got him to go. And
He
then
seems like a nice guy now.
he is. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. You just have to
Be careful around him.
be careful with what you say. You don't want to catch him in the wrong mood.
Yeah.
But when we went to his house, his wife was amazing. She came out, prepped everybody. Mike will be out. What questions do you have for him? It's kind of like, watching the tiger, right?
Yeah.
And then Mike came out and she would make sure everybody had waters and that Mike didn't get upset, right? Or frustrated because they were having him, sign some things and do some, promos and things like that. And man, I tell you, when we went to India, I interviewed Mike over there in front of the Indian people. Yeah, it was incredible. And they just, I don't care how old they were. They knew
Carlos.
him.
Hey, Carlos. Thanks for having me here.
Carlos? Good to see you. But yeah, he was so loved and revered by grandmothers and grandfathers.
He's a
and
legend.
little
He's a
kids.
legend.
Yeah,
Well,
they went crazy over him. And I think that was in Mumbai that we were at.
Yeah.
And man, the crowd, it was sold out and, everybody was there really to see the fights, but really to see Mike.
Mike,
you
yeah,
know?
of course.
Just such a incredible guy. He was my favorite fighter growing up. I'd always watch.
He's
with my,
always been my favorite fighter. by the way.
right. There was no
Like I know Mike loves Muhammad Ali and everyone loves Muhammad Ali.
Right.
He passed away
But
recently, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, Mike was Mike. Like he was the most exciting fighter to watch.
right, especially for a heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
You didn't see big guys.
Yeah,
that had
exactly.
That violence.
No.
And that
I know, but
ferocity.
how
that they
fast
did.
Mike moves for a heavyweight.
Right.
If you actually watch,
And he's not that big of a guy. If
It's
you
not
stand next to him, you'd be surprised. You're like, wow, this guy
he was-
takes out the top heavyweights in the world.
but he
and
was
just be having-
fast.
Fast. Lethal.
Have you seen that with TMZ where some guy in an airplane who was sitting next to him? Yes.
Heckling him.
And he beat him up.
And he beat him up.
Yeah.
And when asked for an interview, he said, "Yeah, I got punched by Mike Tyson. That's a story for a lifetime."
Drunk guy.
Yeah.
It made his life.
It made his life, right? He
And I think he may have sued him too.
Yeah,
on top of
exactly.
it, right? Like,
All right, Carlos, I want to ask you a question, which I want to clip this. Okay.
Okay.
So this bit, Dan, editor, whoever's watching, I want to clip this bit.
Then look towards the camera if you want it. Otherwise, they're going to see the back of your head.
I want to clip this bit. All right. And this is a question to Carlos.
Sure.
Carlos, I want you to sell the fight that's coming up, the fight night that's coming up.
Ask that question while looking into the camera. Otherwise, the camera is
Then
just
he
going to
won't know.
capture the side of your head, right?
No, it's not about clipping me.
Yes, but you want to
him.
clip the question, what you're asking, no? So that when people see it, they
Fine.
see you asking the question.
Well, okay. Do you have a response in mind?
sure.
Right? I want you to sell. It's Friday, right? What day is the fight?
Friday, the 28th of October.
Friday, yeah. So, Carlos, why should people come out to watch Friday's night? Who's fighting and what makes it exciting?
We have possibly the greatest card in the history of Brave Combat Federation going on Friday night. The 28th of October at Khalifa Sports City, we have Hamza Kuheji, the pride of Bahrain, carrying an entire country on his back once again. The prince's own fighter. He is going in an incredible battle against Colombia's Eduardo Mora. And this guy's called El Burro, the bull. He is nicknamed that for a reason. This is going to be a battle of will, a battle of skill, and a battle of complete dedication and love for the game. That's our main event. Okay, getting to our co-main event, we've got Jose Shorty Torres, who I talked about before, from the UFC, a superstar in his own. He's a member of KHK Team Bahrain, and he's fighting in the co-main event. We've also got Ahmed Laban. I don't know if you've heard of this man, but he is the closest thing to Bruce Lee that you will see in a cage. Mark my words, you're going to see excitement, but he's going against Carl Booth, who's known as the Bomber. This guy just drops bombs from everywhere. That's another fight on the card. It's stacked. We're talking 8 pro fights that are just next level. You have to be there. The intensity, the electricity, the feeling, the vibration, everything is going to be on another level. So we'll see you there on Friday night. You guys both are going to be my guests. So I can't wait to have you.
But for the people out there, are there any tickets left? Because I kind of want to buy one at this point. I mean, if it's sold out, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, go to Brave Combat Federation and you can look up on the Instagram how to get tickets, purchase them.
By the way, guys, Wanasa Time, they sell the tickets, so go check out their website.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
You know, check out Brave Combat Federation website. Yeah, you're going to get the information and see how to purchase the tickets. It's always an incredible affair when we're in the country, the magnificent kingdom of Bahrain, and we have Hamza fighting. It's an electricity that you can't see anywhere. And usually when Hamza fights are standing room only, the crowd is so energetic and so supportive and loving. But the great thing about the Bahraini people is no matter if Hamza brings it and wins or not, they respect the other fighter in the cage as well. So it's just an incredible testimony to the beauty of the game and how far we've evolved. But get your tickets now. It's something you don't want to miss.
Because the last time I checked, it was running out quick. I mean, you really had to like fucking book ahead.
I know. By the way,
so if you can find anything right, I would book it immediately.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of my VIP tickets for that event. They said I have to be on the stand because Hamza's fight sold out. You know what I mean? To give room to everyone else.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, is that a sales pitch? Or do you guys want to add anything else?
That was good.
Dan will edit it together so it sounds like
but that was good.
Coherent.
That
Friday night, Brave Nation, be there. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be another incredible night, all made possible by His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa and the Hawk Muhammad Shaheed. Brave Combat Federation, are you ready for Friday night?
Boom! I think that's a wrap for today.